forced to marry a black warrior. What happened next changed her forever. The desert wind howled like a wounded beast, heavy with dust, sweat, and something else, defeat. Lady Isabella Kalen stood trembling in a plain white gown, fists clenched so tightly her nails broke skin. Her throat ached from crying. Once proud, her eyes now swam with disbelief as the late sun stretched long shadows across the sand. Just weeks ago, she had been the cherished daughter of Riverhold's governor, heir to gardens, carriages, and diplomacy. But now, she stood at the edge of a foreign camp, offered like a treaty scroll to a man whose people had turned her world to ash. He stood across from her, Malik, a warrior as silent as the stone around them, skin kissed by sun and earth, shoulders broad beneath armor of leather and bronze. His eyes, unreadable, his presence, overwhelming. Behind him, a dozen warriors stood, bare-chested, painted in war colors. Sons of a tribe once hunted like animals during Riverhold's campaign into the south. But they had risen. They had reclaimed what was theirs. And now, they wanted peace. But peace came at a price. The war had begun 2 years earlier when Riverhold's forces claimed sacred oases and water rights, driving into tribal lands with arrogance. Malik and his brother Azar had led a rebellion fueled by fury and memory. Blood answered blood. Towns burned. Ambushes came swift and silent. Governor Kell never saw it coming. He died in the siege. Isabella, taken, but instead of execution, she was transported across the sands, not as a prisoner, but as an offering, a symbol. Blood must end somewhere, said Malik's chieftain. Let it end at the altar. Isabella had laughed bitterly when they first told her. A cruel joke, she thought, but as time passed and the reality sank in, she saw the truth. Her refusal would mean more death. So they dressed her in white and brought her to the desert. She stared at Malik. A white flower was tucked behind his belt. It mocked her. How could something so soft exist on a man made of war? This isn't peace. This is punishment, she whispered. I know, Malik replied calmly, his voice like stone warmed by sun. Then why this? She demanded. He stepped forward, slow, measured. Because your people took my sister with fire. I took your father's fortress. But hatred must end. Somewhere. A marriage, she scoffed. A seed, he answered, gesturing to the flower. It was hers, my sister's. She died, saving one of your children. I carry it to remember who I must never become. The words cut deeper than any blade. He wasn't the savage she had imagined. He was a man carved by loss, tempered by survival, and now choosing peace in the only way his people would honor. She wanted to collapse, to scream, to run. But she didn't doubt he never took her hand. He merely waited, offering the choice. Tears streamed silently. Then she stepped forward. The ceremony was brief. No vows, no rings, only a symbolic knot tied between their wrists by an elder, and silence that said everything words couldn't. They were led to a tent, hers alone, watched by guards. Not love, not trust, a ceasefire, a fragile beginning. Malik never entered without permission. He left food, water, even salve for her blistered hands. He said little, but watched her, not like a captor, but like a man watching a storm, unsure if it would pass or shatter everything. She hated that. She hated that she noticed point one evening. She wandered near the dunes, the white flower clenched in her palm. She didn't know why she kept it. Grief, maybe, or guilt. You shouldn't be alone, came a voice behind her. Malik. Barefoot. Calm. Not commanding. Just present. I'm not your prisoner, she snapped. No, you're my wife. She laughed bitterly. You say it like it means something. It does, he said. It means I will never take from you. Not food, not warmth, not your body. But I will protect you. That is what a husband means among my people. Her breath caught. He stared into the horizon. I was 12 when your army burned our village. They crushed our food, stole our elders. I hated your people, but then my sister ran into a burning home to save a Riverhold boy. She died carrying him out. Isabella's voice was cold. I'm not her. No, but you are someone's daughter, someone's sister. So I give you what she gave that child, Mercy. For a moment, the wind softened, and for the first time, it didn't feel like the desert was trying to swallow her whole. That night, she didn't eat alone. He sat across from her under the stars. Silent, respectful. She didn't speak, but she listened and wondered if he carried that flower for so long. What else has he carried inside him? Days blurred into weeks. Children waved when she passed. Women taught her songs. A girl gave her a carved doll. Malik never stopped watching over her, but never invaded point one morning. She saw him asleep outside her tent, like a sentinel who had guarded her through the night. She spoke to him more. First short words, then stories, then laughter. She told him of her mother's roses, the river near her childhood home. He told her of his brother, who wanted to be a healer, not a warrior. She asked him, why choose marriage over revenge? He looked at her and said, because revenge ends when everyone is dead. But peace begins when someone chooses differently. The change came slowly, but it came point one morning. She braided her hair with red thread, like the women of the tribe. That night, she placed the white flower back in his belt. He turned, surprised. Why? Because I think she would want you to carry it with pride. And maybe I want to carry it with you. He didn't smile, but his eyes softened in a way that said more than words ever could. Months passed. The world outside the dunes remained tense. But inside the camp, peace bloomed. Isabella was no longer a hostage. She wasn't a bride in white forced to surrender. She was a partner. By her own choosing. She had been given away as a symbol of surrender, but she found something far greater than peace. She found him, and in him, she found herself. If this story moved you, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more powerful, emotional, and unexpected tales. And tell us, where in the world are you watching from? We love hearing your stories. Until next time, stay kind, stay curious, and keep watching.